Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for you. This morning I wanted to go back, not to the blog server per se, but to just adding code to the system after I've already versioned everything off. We've gone through versioning before in Envy, and I've already versioned this off into a new edition. So let's go ahead and say I wanted to add something here. I don't know, let's put an HTML break. Doesn't really matter. Now I'll hit Control S, and watch what happens. It says I cannot create a new edition because this thing is not marked as a scratch edition or a new edition. So it's offering to make it a scratch edition. Now I probably want to cancel at this point because I'm wondering what's going on. So I'll just say no, I don't want to save that. And what I will do is I will go back. And what I will do is go back here to Tools, Manage Applications, and I will find Seaside Blog here in the repository. And I see I've got version 1.14, and you notice that that's the latest edition. So what I want to do is go down here to create new edition, and what it'll do is create a new edition here with the timestamp on it. It's not versioned, and at this point I can now go back here to say any method I want, and again, doesn't really matter, but let's go to the bottom here and say HTML break, and I will hit Control S on that. Notice a couple of things happen. First, it doesn't warn me. Second, if I go over here and look at this, notice how this is colored blue, which isn't obvious when I've selected it, but when I haven't, it's obvious. The rest of them are black. What that's telling me is the rest of these are in a versioned edition, whereas this one is in an open edition. It has not been versioned yet. It's in the repository. I haven't lost anything. That's kind of the cool thing about Envy, but it's not a named edition. So if I go back here, you see it's part of this edition here that I opened up, and this class is now dirty, so I would have to reversion that if I wanted to have that take effect into something that I wanted to release out into production, if that's kind of the process I want to follow. So that's just something I wanted to mention, because as we went through the Seaside tutorial, I was constantly adding code to the system, and you didn't really see me do that. It's kind of because I was doing that in the background, but I wanted to point out that as you develop, you want to create new editions, do your development, publish those out as new versions, then kind of rinse repeat as you go along, and that way you have named versions all the way along, and at each point you can say, well, at this point I added this feature, at this point I added this feature, and you can wrap whatever process you really need around that depending on how things operate where you are. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.